It's the 10 to 1 podcast with your host, Brad Oman, featuring Ben Konowitz and Loucks. And here's the podcast. Girl.
Boy. I'm telling you right now.
We're going to have fun tonight, guys.
I love Adam Driver.
Do love me some Adam Driver.
He's in the driver's seat the whole episode.
Oh, you had to ruin
You had to go with it. But let me tell you something about Adam Driver, though, because I feel a kinship to Adam Driver because he's from our area.
He's also tall like you.
He is, but
Mishawaka, Indiana.
He's from Mishawaka. Also, Dad is a pastor from Mishawaka.
Mm-hmm.
He's essentially Finn. He's my son. That's the trajectory.
Adam is?
Yeah, that's the trajectory my son's going to take.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yeah. So
pretty soon, Finn will be a villain in the Star Wars
Except
universe.
Finn doesn't take piano lessons, and clearly Adam Driver has.
Yes.
Because that dude is a talented pianist.
His hands are so large.
He really does have like big hands and like thick fingers too.
Yeah, no, and just big features,
Yeah,
right? Ears, nose.
You know what you don't want to watch? You don't want to watch. You don't want to watch Saturday Night Live featuring Adam Driver sitting next to a girl that you might like, because she might comment, "Those are some nice big hands."
Yeah,
and then I'm like, "Oh well, my hands are pretty big, but they're not that big."
Nope.
You know,
I know. Nor other things because I've seen it. But so the 7th episode of the 49th season. Adam Driver previously hosted 3 other episodes. He is in the 4-Timers Club, which isn't a thing.
Yeah.
Which isn't a thing.
The first time he hosted Saturday Night Live was January 16th, 2016. And then he's done one every 2 years, but he did not do one last year. So it's been the longest stretch since 2016 that he hasn't done one. So it's been 3 years for him. But I was incredibly happy to have him back.
Yeah, absolutely. He is.
Spoiler alert: this episode rocks.
Yeah,
and we'll just keep on talking about how much we love Adam.
Just a great ease with which he fits into the show. He's very comfortable. Fits in the same way that someone like Emma Stone or Ryan Gosling or Justin Timberlake does. Just gets along with the cast.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah, knows how to deliver it. And yeah, I would love to see Adam Driver fight Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce would murder him.
I know, but in my mind, he would be Kylo Ren.
Well, you know what? Actually, I mean, Travis Kelce's a football player.
Yeah.
Adam Driver, Marine.
Yep,
that's true.
So he would have a more of a
Adam Driver, Sith Lord. So
hey, I was looking at the 4-Timers because he is now a 4-Timer.
Mm-hmm.
And let's take him out of this question, okay? So you can't include him because I know we all there's recency bias here. So let's go through the list of 4-Timers, and who do you want to become the next 5-timer?
Martin Short.
All right. Let me read you the list.
Charles Barkley.
Let me read you the list though, okay?
Okay.
Ashton Kutcher,
No thanks.
No, thank you.
Dana Carvey,
Yeah, that'd
Sure.
be fine.
Yeah, of course.
Lindsay Lohan.
I mean, if I would love to see her make a comeback.
Sure. Honestly, yeah. Get healthy, sweetie. Girl, get healthy. Come back.
Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
she hasn't been doing a lot of acting
She
lately.
just retired from acting. Now she's back a little
I
bit.
don't think she didn't just retire. She's been retired for like 10 years,
No,
right?
she came back.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, she
Kind
came
of. She came back and she did like a little something, but she's mostly still just running her wine company, I think it is, or something like that.
She's married to like a Madden brother, right?
Yeah, John Madden, I think.
No, what's the band that they're in?
I don't know.
back. I don't know music.
Benji Madden, I think.
I don't watch the musical guests on this show.
Well, you missed out on this episode.
Actually, I
then,
did
my
watch.
friend.
I did watch. Because I watched it live.
I'm shocked you wouldn't pick this one. These next two, actually, Ben. Louis C.K. and James Franco.
Hey, let them host together. I bet that'll be a rollicking episode.
Yeah.
And then Charles Barkley.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
that'd be fun.
absolutely want to watch Charles Barkley do it.
Kristen Wiig.
Of
Of
course.
course.
Martin Short.
I already said
Duh.
that.
Yeah, so Martin Short for you is the one that
Yeah,
you want more than
absolutely.
anybody else. For
Is
you,
is that everybody?
that's everyone.
So I love
That's not everybody.
That 4-timers.
4 times.
No, I saw a list. There was another list I saw on Twitter, and
I literally
Paul Simon was on it.
Yeah, but I didn't pull Paul Simon because he's 90 years old.
So what?
Okay,
90-year-old people can't do stuff.
and like Eric Idle was on it
No,
too.
Nate, no, please. People who are 90 years old can't do cool things. Like,
No.
are you ageist?
Yes,
Oh,
I
okay.
am.
Interesting.
Yeah,
but
I'm
like,
actually glad that
I
you
don't
left
think
them
a
off.
president should be 85 years old. I'll say that.
I'm not either.
Yeah, I'm glad that you left them off because we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
So Charles Barkley is probably the one that I would want to see the most, just because I think that every time he's hosted, he's not obviously he's reading the cue cards, but he's such a caricature of himself that I love watching him. Martin Short will probably host again. I hope so.
Oh yeah.
And
But-
he has recently.
Yeah, and
with Steve Martin.
he's definitely just done it with Steve Martin, and so I got that feel, and I'd love to see him again. But Charles Barkley hasn't hosted in years, and I would love to see him do it.
It hasn't been that long. He hosted not too long ago.
I mean, probably 5 years.
Yeah, not too long ago.
It's been exactly 5 years. March 3rd, 2018 was the last one.
and it wasn't terrible.
So I think
The reason I want it to be Martin Short is because I feel like we haven't gotten a really in-depth 5-timers club, and I feel like if Martin Short does it, then they'll get Steve Martin and they'll they'll go back to the
It'll be a
room
fun
and
5-timers,
exactly.
the reason I want to see Charles Barkley do it is he's not an elderly man yet, but he's getting up there, and I want to see him still kind of like able to do it.
You left off Eric Idle as well.
He's
because
117.
Eric Idle's last time on SNL was like 1979.
So what? People from 1979 can't do stuff?
Oh my God, what is wrong with you tonight?
Ben, are you on my side on this?
I am,
Yeah.
totally.
I want to support people who are doing comedy.
He did it to save time so we could talk more about Adam Driver, and you're making it longer, Brad. Anyway, Adam Driver, let's go. Cold open.
Let it be said here that Brad makes things longer.
And we are definitely over the cold open. So let's talk about monologue.
Nope, we got to talk about this cold
what
open.
the
No,
fuck?
we
Do
have
we?
to talk
Do
about
we?
this cold
Do we?
open
Well,
because
there is an interesting fact about this cold open. Apparently, so first of all,
Apparently.
Nate, tell us what the cold open was.
yeah, let's go through this because again, there's
I
people that are
know,
listening.
I know.
The college president's cold open. The presidents of academic institutions, portrayed by Edgar Wodum, Chloe Feynman, and Heidi Gardner, respond to inquiries from congressional members, played by Chloe Trost, Bowen Yang, Molly Carney, and Michael Longfellow, regarding incidents of anti-Semitism occurring on their respective campuses. This is a real event, obviously, that just happened.
No.
One of the college presidents that was played by Chloe Feynman, maybe, resigned, I think, because of the things that she said. This was the worst cold open I've seen in ages.
Thank you.
Yeah, it just wasn't
The worst.
funny.
It was so long.
It was
so.
They kept going back to Chloe Trost.
Yeah.
They kept going back to her.
I'm really
I know,
liking Chloe Trost.
I like her a lot.
Did not get that
By
Elise
the
Stefanik
fifth-
impression.
By the
here-
fifth cutback. What are you doing?
Here's the thing. I didn't have a problem with Chloe Trost in this sketch whatsoever. I didn't watch the entire thing that actually happened. I'm sure what she's doing is a good impression.
It's not that great, actually. Because I'm like a C-SPAN nerd, so I do watch these things, but it's not a great impression.
That's fine. What she's doing is funny though.
Yeah,
The material is not. Nothing that happened in this sketch was even remotely
Awful.
close to being funny, and not even because of the controversial subject matter. Because there are so many people sounding off on Twitter who are talking about, oh, cool, this is what we're doing now for comedy. It's like, first of all, fuck you guys for just being like enraged reactionary bitches on the internet. But second of all,
Wow.
uh,
Brad's on one tonight.
Yeah, okay, prepare yourself, listeners.
Yeah,
Brad's feeling it tonight.
Hey, if you're in the car with the kids, turn down the volume a little bit. Pop it. You know what?
Little late
we
for that.
don't say this all the time, but pop in those AirPods.
But second of all, this is a perfect example of what they're doing is where all they're doing is just echoing the real event and like putting a couple things in there that make it seem like it's supposed to be funny, but it really isn't.
But there was none of that.
Yeah.
There was no spin on this. There was no escalation. I was so sad
it
because
was painful to watch.
it was bad. Was it last week? I think we had a decent one.
It was the George Santos one.
Yeah, that was.
And you know what
decent.
else too? And this was distracting to me too. I don't know if it was distracting to anybody else, but they had the wrong name tags in front of Heidi Gardner and Chloe Feynman. So they did the graphics correctly, but they each had name tags in front of them on set,
didn't
and
even
they were
notice.
wrong.
I was so bored.
It
I
also
didn't
just
even
seemed. Did it seem the cuts were awkward to you?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
And I don't know if
It felt like they were constantly trying to catch up with the sketch. Like, oh shit, this is happening.
or like they're planning for laughs and the laughs never
Yeah.
happen.
That's actually probably the director is normally like, we get a way to beat because there's gonna be a laugh.
Yep.
Oh shit, there's no laugh, and it kept happening.
But in what world would running through that sketch get you a laugh? I mean, there was no jokes there.
No. Well, and so here's where the interesting aspect comes into play. Apparently, I don't know. And I think you saw this as well. Word on the street is that during dress rehearsal, Cecily Strong played Chloe Trost's role, but apparently, for whatever reason,
I did not hear that.
They did not use her in the live show.
Wait, she was just back for the show?
Apparently, I didn't see any explanation whatsoever. But
Cecily would kill us.
I think it was.
She would kill that.
I think it was SNL in review on Twitter. Maybe one of the SNL accounts that I follow on Twitter said that
X.com.
that they had heard that Chloe Trost was not in the dress rehearsal. It was Cecily Strong, but then didn't happen for the live show.
Okay, that makes me feel a couple things. A, sad because I would have loved to see Elise Stefanik played by
Cecily Strong.
Cecily Strong. Sorry. But I also feel bad for Chloe Trost for having to very quickly pivot to do that impression because it wasn't great. She did something though, and she did something consistently. Her impression was consistent. It just wasn't perfect. But
I just can't believe how long
it was not Chloe Trost's fault. It was not the performer's fault. It was the writers. It was not a well-written sketch. Who says, oh, okay, you know what? I'll say this. We had 2 Cut for Time sketches, and I know they're not politically based. I know that. Put those in there. Those were all funnier sketches. And I don't care if it's, there's this understanding that the cold open is going to be some kind of cultural, like, appropriate type of sketch. I don't care. Put something funny there. That's all I care about.
So it was just to clarify, Saturday Night Network was the one who found this out. And yeah, there's no indication as to like why she was swapped out. There's some speculation that maybe they wanted to save her and maybe bring her back for Kate McKinnon's episode instead. So
why not both?
I don't know.
Or she was like, hey, that sketch was fucking terrible. I won't perform it live.
Cecily Strong is someone that can, kind of like Keenan, she can save us an unfunny sketch.
Yeah.
But this one was, I genuinely think, unsalvageable.
And maybe it could have been like a word of caution too, of like, hey, you're already away from SNL. Don't get caught up in a sketch that could potentially be quote unquote controversial.
Yeah, that could be.
Who knows?
Though, knowing Cecily Strong and what she did some of the most controversial, I think, Weekend Update bits and stuff like that. This
is a different kind of controversy, though.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, moving on. So starting the show well, we just told you how much we loved this episode, but let's get that out of the way, and let's get to the good stuff. Adam Driver monologue written by Jake Norblin, Mike DeCenzo, and Adam Driver. It's not often, other than usually stand-up comedians get a writing credit on the monologue, but Adam Driver actually got a writing credit for this.
It's pretty great.
Adam Driver made his 4th appearance as a host on Saturday Night Live, during which he expressed his fondness for Christmas, his passion for playing the piano. He shared his Christmas wish list and engaged in a discussion with Santa. This is, I thought, in so many ways, showed Adam Driver's comedic skills, giant hands, and his piano playing skills.
It showed his patience.
Yeah.
He's effortless when he's effortless in everything that he does, but he's effortlessly waiting, and it doesn't matter to him that there maybe not be a laugh. He's not worried. That's a veteran stand-up move, basically. Veteran improv move. Just knowing that I'm doing this, and I know my cadence, and I know my pace, and the jokes will pay off, and it worked. It was phenomenal. One of the best monologues of the year.
You mentioned this in our text thread where we talk about a lot of things, about how it reminded you of Steve Martin, and it absolutely has echoes of Steve Martin's holiday wish and just the way that he's talking to the audience.
And he interrupts himself.
Yeah, the Christmas theme.
The inner outer monologue kind of, that Steve Martin does so well.
I particularly loved his, I didn't kill Han Solo. Wokeness killed Han Solo.
I laughed so much at that. It was just so good. It was one that I watched multiple times because it was that funny. Actually, there's a couple things in here. We're gonna get to Marcelo Hernandez's Weekend Update bit that I watched a couple times. All of it just it was just hitting on all cylinders. They needed this episode.
They're stringing 2 in a row here with Emma Stone and Adam Driver, and then they're going to end the year with Kate McKinnon. This is the smart move, because this is what people that have been like down on SNL this year, and us included, we needed this. We needed a couple of wins in a row, and this is such a good win.
And they did a great job of bringing in the holiday element. I wanted to, as listeners of our podcast on Go Flick Yourself know, I'm a huge Christmas fan.
You?
Yeah. And so I love Saturday Night Live holiday specials, and this brought it in so well, I thought.
This was basically half Christmas episode.
Yep. But the ones they did for Christmas were just great, I thought.
Yep.
So, all right, moving on. We're Trying. Girl. Written by Celeste Diem, Carol Sullivan, and Jimmy Fowley. A gathering of acquaintances on a skiing trip portrayed by Adam Driver, Heidi Gardner, Bowen Yang, Ego Wodum, Sarah Sherman, Michael Longfellow, and Andrew DeSmukes engage in a conversation regarding a couple's endeavor to conceive a child. What'd you guys think of this one?
Not just any couple, but a male homosexual couple.
That is true.
And they're just going to try the old-fashioned way.
I of course, this is a good sketch. It's not a great sketch. It's a very solid, good sketch. I laughed a lot. The one thing that this one I thought could have used was just a little bit more escalation. It could have gotten a little weirder, or a little bit more like the other people in the room being put upon. Like, what are you doing? Like, really aggressive. But it still serviced it was good. It was.
I felt like Adam Driver and Bowen Yang were escalating. I agree with you. The responses, the ping pong necessary that needs to happen there maybe didn't happen as well. I thought the escalation was written in there though, right? They were like, so how are you going to do that? And it just escalates more and more, right? But it didn't. I agree. The sketch didn't follow it didn't follow the bit as well as it should have.
And it is. It's the reactions from Sarah Sherman and again, it was fine. That part was fine. It could have been better. Other than that, that's kind of me nitpicking. I laughed a lot.
Yeah, it was still a very enjoyable sketch and the chemistry between Bowen Yang and Adam Driver, like they were so perfect together. Like their timing with each other.
And
was awesome.
Woodham, like, I'm expecting in the future that I will be pregnant. Like, so stupid. I loved it.
No, I loved it. Started off with a great monologue, and I did like this sketch, unlike you.
I liked it. I just didn't love it.
I think this sketch also shows what Adam Driver can do. I think this sketch in another person's or another performer's or another host's hands wouldn't have been as funny. The little things that Adam Driver does, even just the girl, is so much funnier when Adam Driver does it than anybody else.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think it was a funnier sketch for me, because of the little bits that Adam Driver did, and Bowen Yang too. I mean, they were both really good, but in the hands of a good performer, mediocre written sketches can be good sketches.
Yeah, this is good. Very, very solid.
Yeah, it was definitely better than Ben indicated.
Oh my gosh. I'm just saying, compared to the other stuff in this episode, which is phenomenal, this is pretty good.
All right, here we go. A pre-tape called Old Friends, written by Mikey Day, Streeter Seidel, and Allison Gates. A man portrayed by Mikey Day discovers that his childhood best friend, portrayed by Adam Driver, is a bit of a head case. I forget what he called him. Psycho, I think. The sketch also includes Chloe Fineman as Mikey Day's girlfriend and Devin Walker as Big Filthy. What'd you guys think of this one?
This is great because living in a small town in LaPorte, Indiana, this hits pretty close to home because this is kind of how I reconnected with Ben.
Okay, come on.
There are many places we can't go within 1,000 feet.
Yeah, schools, churches, salons.
Salons? That's for a very specific reason, and you know that.
It is weird, though, where I don't know if you've ever had this, where you talk to somebody and you've had a fine conversation with them, and then you say, hey, I saw Brad the other day, and you're like, oh, did he tell you about what's going on? And you're like, no, he didn't tell me anything. Oh, no, he was in jail for like 3 months. And you're like, I've had this happen to me before. I'm like,
or like you're having a normal conversation with somebody and like everything's cool, and then all of a sudden they say something that's blatantly racist, and you're like, oh, you're this person now.
And I've already committed to going out with you tonight.
Yep.
So
awkward.
But of course, Adam Driver. Yeah, this is another instance, where he like his acting just like elevates the most simple, like material, just the way that he delivers lines and it just stays dedicated to it. Like he's playing this as a character, and it works so well.
And this is a very much the same sketch as Billie Eilish with Kate McKinnon as the neighbor lady across the hall, or across the apartment building. Like, can we come over? It's the exact same premise basically, but my goodness, I'm here for it. Like, do a third one. Like, it's fine.
For sure.
It was so good.
So what did you think, though? Because we talk about this sometimes where SNL will just do some kind of weird product placement at the end. I think this was Facebook, right?
This one worked. This one worked.
It felt weird, but this one did work better than it normally does.
Yeah, and I'm saying that with a grain of salt here.
I think it was unnecessary. I think you could have ended the sketch and it'd been fine.
Definitely not the worst instance of it in this episode.
I said that, though, because every time, even in this episode.
Yeah.
But we've seen that over and over again. But this was not a terrible version.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad version.
Moving on. Beep, beep. In this sketch.
It's girly leap.
Nope. That's a very local
I know, right?
thing, by the way. That's a car dealership locally here in Northwest Indiana.
That's for you folks out there in the region.
In this sketch, two men played by Andrew Smeeks and Adam Driver have a heated argument about whose responsibility it is to put the food down after saying beep, beep. The skit also features Mikey Day, Bowen Yang, Heidi Gardner, Molly Carney, Sarah Sherman, Ego Woodham, and Kenan Thompson in different roles. I liked the sketch a lot. What I loved about this sketch, on the little bits of things that we talk about and sometimes nitpick, is this sketch ended so well. It was it didn't need product placement. It just found the place to end it and went there, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
What did you think of it, Brett?
Well, I mean, this is another one that hits close to home because of that.
Is everything just going to hit close to home for you to say?
When it's has that
Adam Driver's a local kid, so
yeah, he's from Mishawaka.
And no, and this has that tinge of Midwestern politeness.
Oh, yeah.
You know, of like the way when you run somebody at the grocery store, you're like, oh, and you like kind of get out of their way. And this is that like what my favorite part of this sketch is that not only are they mocking like the premise of like saying something in a way that's like adorable, but like you're trying to like get through somewhere.
Yeah.
But they actually have a conversation breaking down. No, I said this, so it's okay because I'm making it seem like what I'm doing is cute and not forceful.
There's a way to hide our passive aggressiveness.
Exactly.
Right.
No. I'm a little car.
Yeah.
And I said,
I'm a much littler car.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so much more of a littler car.
And Dismukes and Driver just what
Nailed
a
it.
of course Driver and Yang, all these guys, like he was there. And I'm always amazed when I watch Adam Driver perform at SNL because it's like he's a theater god and he doesn't need to read cue cards. And
yeah, he's very talented at like glancing one way
and not making it seem like he's reading the card.
and like internalizing 3 lines and looking away and delivering those lines and then glancing back. It's almost like a fountain pen drawing the ink. He just glances over and takes what he needs and then looks away. Dismukes was straight up reading from the cue cards because he had to, and Adam Driver kind of put him to shame in this sketch because it didn't look like it at all.
And I loved the escalation with Keenan coming in because that could have been just another kind of him doing the same thing. But then the gun element of it, I just loved it. It was so
and also I like to point out too, there's 2 different flavors of comedic delivery here that you really see, and they both work in their own way, because you have Driver who takes the character very seriously at face value, like this is who he is, this is how he's like reacting and how he's feeling and how he projects it, and so like when he's like actually getting frustrated, he's like no, I said beep beep. And he's being very serious. And then you have Dismukes, who's kind of playing it up a little bit. And he's like, oh, yeah, I said beep, beep, And so he's hamming it up a little bit more. But they both work together so well. And that's just, it's magic. It really is magic when something like that happens.
It was awesome.
And like I said, you add Keenan to that mix because he has another kind of comedic timing. And it was just wonderful.
The universe that they built in this sketch is Bo and Yang and Mikey Daly, like 2 vulture or 2 raptors or whatever they said, 2 falcons or wolves. And everybody understood. Like,
keep saying animals.
That they said falcon and wolf. Sorry. They but everybody in that universe respected the fight and was like just standing on it. So if you're gonna do that, you have to do it one of 2 ways. Either everybody is like, "What are you guys doing?" or everybody's like, "Ooh, we understand what they're doing and we need to respect it." And they chose instead of to disagree to yes and it to say like this is the universe that exists and these 2 alpha male or whatever have to go after it. I like that choice.
Brad, you make a good point though. I didn't think about this, how culturally bound this is even to our experience, because the Midwest is known to be
excuse me.
And needlessly polite and but really passive aggressively polite place. And there have been times where some of the sketches are very New York based, and they're well written, they're fine, and I admit sometimes that it just didn't hit me because I don't have the necessary experience maybe to get the sketch like it really should be gotten.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe that's why this one got me as well, because it was just I felt it. I've worked in restaurants before, and that's been the thing. No, I said go, no, you go, and you're arguing about who should be polite.
All you're going to do is at the end of the night, you're going to talk to your other coworker and be like, I just don't understand how she's so dumb. But you would never call Sarah dumb in the moment. She just said, just go. It's fine.
Oh, it drives me crazy in the Midwest where, and I've talked to friends in other places that don't have this as bad as we do. This impacts our driving, where people will literally stop driving in the middle of the highway to let you go in
and it's like,
cross.
Just follow the rules of the road. We're
just
gonna
go,
all die.
right?
Zipper merge, Jesus!
It's like you've just created a traffic jam to try to be polite and just follow the rules. In 5 seconds, I will follow you.
100%.
All right, moving on. Shop TV Christmas. 2 hosts from a home shopping network, played by Mikey Day and Heidi Gardner, attempt to prevent their guest, played by Adam Driver, from eating a candy in the shape of a penis. In addition, guest callers Andrew Smukes, Punky Johnson, and Kenan Thompson make appearances, while James Austin Johnson is featured at the beginning. Ben, you like phallic symbols. What did you think of this?
This was excellent, of course. It's reminiscent of so they've done this quite a few times. This is just great. I mean, Adam Driver again crushes it as the chocolatier that doesn't understand why people are saying that it's, just take a bite, put it in your mouth. It's just the tip. All the things he needs to be saying. Heidi Gardner and Mikey Day are fully fleshed out characters who only add to the scenery. It's just this sketch is incredible. It's so fun. I laughed out loud the whole time.
Yeah, this is hilarious. And like doing double entendres and like sexual insinuations like this, it's a reliable comedic formula. And you could call it easy, but like it also has to be done well. And for me, what really seals the deal here, it is Adam Driver, because he has such a gleeful innocence about, and so clueless about like what he's saying.
Oh no, the ridge at the top is what you have to give Santa a tinfoil hat.
I just want to gobble it up, I laughed so hard when
they put their fingers in front of his face, like, no, and he's like, no.
Do you guys remember the last time they did a Shop TV sketch?
They did. I do remember that they did one, and it wasn't all that long ago.
Was it Woody Harrelson?
No, it was Gerard Carmichael. And it was
that's right.
And it was a doll that had rainbow hair and also rainbow pubes.
Yep.
And they did the same, and I'm glad they brought it back, the scream gag, because the scream gag is hilarious.
Can we just Odell, can we please get
Oh my God. And last time it was Cecily Strong and not Heidi Gardner in the role. So
Gotcha.
But yeah, I Nate, did you like this as well?
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
And again, Adam Driver just nails it every time.
So good.
It's just, this is when Saturday Night Live is really fun to watch, because you see, and I think I told you, Ben, that it can't just be that they found all of the writing sweet spots. The sketches were written by the same people that write all the sketches, right? And granted, these are some good concepts, but like you said, Brad, this isn't a new concept. It has to be that the performances are just escalating and doing, they're serving the sketch in the way that it needs to be served.
Yeah.
And so, I wonder sometimes how many times even the writers sometimes maybe get frustrated because the sketches in another person's hands can go very differently.
Yeah, I wrote this, and it's funny if you deliver it this way, but if you fuck it up, then I'm sorry, it's just not going to be funny.
Yeah, and there's nothing I could do. It's not the sketch's fault. And maybe listen, writers, you need to know your host and write to them. But like,
also something at a table read can go over really well when so and so is very comfortable, and then in front of a live audience they just screw it up.
Is that what happened to the cold open? It just killed at the table.
I mean, it could have. It could have. I don't know. Maybe it did.
No. You know how I know it didn't? Because there was no jokes in there.
I do want to go back to that just real quickly, because one point I was going to make is like, I imagine them literally reading that out loud at the table, and they must have laughed. Why would they do it if they didn't? So you can't tell me that everybody was like, oh my God, this is perfect.
I don't. Where were the jokes though? That's what I'm saying. Is usually you can see, that is a joke there that got a ha from somebody. There were no ha's. It was just like not good. Yeah, it was almost.
It's just confusing.
It was painful for me to watch. Like it was so bad.
I don't understand.
All right, it's time for a weekend update. This is a time where we, Ben and I, get to talk about the Bradometer, and the Bradometer judges how much chemistry and how much it's not just like whether or not they liked each other,
spoken or unspoken.
Yep, spiritual, mental, relational, sexual tension that they have,
charisma and tension
during the two hosts have during the weekend update bit. Now, it's not been great this season, I would say. Brad, would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, weekend update in general hasn't been the best this season. So
this is 85.
This is 85 for you.
Yep.
Ooh, that was what I was gonna pick. I'll go 84.
Oh, interesting.
Because there was a lot. It was fun. I had fun.
Oh yeah,
it was fun.
There was so much back and forth,
and there was a good. There were
out loud things.
Colin had to read something that I know he didn't want to read. Yep. That's always fun.
They talk to each other specifically.
Yep. Anyway. I thought the jokes hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you giving it?
Give it an 82.
So I'm closest. I win.
No, we went over. We both went over.
I know, but that's not how we play.
Yeah, we did. We've talked about this earlier. Anyway,
we only play that when
you both went over, but Nate's closer.
You know what? You know what? Next time, Nate. Well, here's what we're gonna do. Brad's got to write it down ahead of time.
Yeah,
because we say it and then he decides, no, I'm not going to give it to him.
It's always,
so from now
on, in my noggin.
From now on, I'm going to have you write it down. No, for real.
It's always in my noggin.
From now on, I'm going to have you write it down.
We've done like 51 of these episodes now. Or this is the 51st or 52nd episode.
Why are you saying that? Because you've gotten it right before. So what are you complaining about?
Yeah, no, you get it right more than I do. Oh, so what is the highest that it's been? I don't remember.
Oh, I don't remember either. I want probably 95, I think.
Oh, you've had it?
I thought we had a 95. There was one when like, it was probably one of the episodes where they
were giving each other hand jobs.
Yeah. Oh, that was the best one. No, there was
Little
one.
chocolate Santas.
There was one where they were like trading back and forth. But actually, the best one was probably when Che pranked Jost, and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that
would have been a
Yeah.
95. Maybe 100.
Maybe.
Because that's incredible.
So let me read this for our listeners. The hosts of the Weekend Update, Colin Jost and Michael Che, addressed some significant developments of the week, including allegations of tax evasion by Hunter Biden between 2016 and 2020, potentially resulting in a 17-year prison sentence. Mike Johnson's actions and blurring faces related to the events of January 6th, the resignation of the president of the University of Pennsylvania following the emergence of anti-Semitic remarks, and
they should have done a sketch about that.
and the introduction of McDonald's new establishment. I like this. Was there any jokes that you guys want to talk about that stood out to you?
I always like when they show a photo of somebody and do something like that.
And Mitch McConnell's such an easy person to
Mitch
do that.
McConnell's seen here, because he's smiling, Mitch McConnell's seen here bringing peanuts into an elementary school.
Yeah, it's so good.
Great
All
joke.
of Cheney's jokes that got groans, I thought were pretty dang funny.
They're really good.
And I also love whenever Che like reacts to it too, where he just like laughs to himself. It's like,
I got him.
Because that is exactly what he's wanting to do.
Yeah.
Right. The more groans, the better for Che. I really love this.
Colin just being like, that's Photoshop. Him on January 6th. That was great.
All right, let's move on to some of the bits.
So I did think that this Weekend Update was better than the previous version.
Is it the best ones of the season? You think?
I don't think it's the best one of the season. I think early on there was one that I really laughed at hard, but I think
no,
the
but
best one for me.
I did write in my review on slashroom.com, if you read it, that this did feel like Weekend Update is kind of like a little bit on like an uptick, and they're kind of finding their groove again.
Yeah, because it was better last week as well.
Yeah.
Not as good as this one, but it was better. Let's move on to some of the Weekend Update bits. Marcelo Hernandez on Depression in Men, written by Marcelo Hernandez, Colin Jost, Mike DeCenzo, and Jake Nordwin. Marcelo Hernandez stops by Weekend Update to discuss why men are depressed. Marcelo was having a lot of fun. I love him trying not to laugh. He's
adorable.
He's adorable.
I love him.
Talented. I love how he brings in. It's a little bit like Pete Davidson, where he brings in his own story a little bit, because all of that stuff was true. I don't know if you guys know this. He was a college soccer player.
It's football.
Well, to your people, yes. College athlete, got into comedy. I think he's only like 25 or 26 now. He's pretty young still. But I just
also
love
like
him.
when-
He's charming. He's funny. He's adorable.
This isn't just Colin Jost introducing him and letting him talk for 10 minutes. This is still Colin Jost being like, does this have to do with...
Yep.
And that actually does heighten it and make it better. So this was a very good example of how Colin Jost in that role can kind of get us back on track about what it's supposed to be about, but also as a joke. And it really did work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that the material that he's doing is not the strongest, but the energy he brings to it and how he delivers it, I think elevated it and made it a little better than it otherwise might have been. And the one thing I also appreciated was the kind of meta reference to the fact that this is clearly in Marcelo's stand-up material. Because when Colin Jost asked him like the question at the end, he's like, "Yeah, but like, what about this?" He's like, "Oh, well, I don't have stand-up material on that." So
Yep.
Exactly.
I also love comedians. Sometimes are just general comedians, where they're just situational comedians. Like I said, people like Pete Davidson clearly have an event in their life that has happened to them that they use comedy as a way to process or to get through. Marcelo Hernandez, being raised by a single mom in a Latino community, I think he's Cuban.
He's Dominican.
I think his mom is Cuban, though, isn't it? Or no?
I mean, I think that in the show he said over and over again,
Okay.
he's Dominican.
If only there was a way we could look this up.
Yeah,
Should we do that so we don't look like racist white guys?
Probably.
we should. So, friends, we just checked that on Wikipedia, and it found out that I am right. He is of Cuban descent.
He's not, though. He's Cuban and
No,
Dominican.
he is, though.
Well,
Is he
he
not?
is. He's both.
Okay, but I was right. He is of Cuban descent.
Ben's more of an all lives matter.
Oh, my God.
So, and I saw online, because he's becoming kind of like the Pete Davidson. He's becoming a thirst trap online. You see
Well,
that?
you can hear the audience the way that they're screaming for him. It's like the kind of thing where the ladies are screaming because like, "Ooh, he's so hot!"
Yeah, I saw online that he maybe might be dating Camila Cabello, and she's not.
Good for him.
Yeah, she's not bad.
Go ahead, Marcelo.
Life has really changed the last 2 years for this man. So good for you, buddy. Let's move on. Chloe Fineman's Save the Last Dance holiday gift, written by Chloe Fineman, Jake Norman, and Mike DeCenzo. Chloe Fineman stops by Weekend Update to discuss her intimate holiday gift idea, Julia Stiles' dance from Save the Last Dance.
Did anybody have this on their bingo card?
Did not.
Did not.
Question for you. Has Julia Stiles ever hosted Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
Yes.
And I believe it was back during the time of Save the Last Dance.
Correct. It was on March 17th, 2001.
Yeah.
So the last... But I don't know Julia Stiles
the
real well.
travesty to
Oh, you don't know Julia Stiles?
Don't know her real well. But to me, she looks exactly the same as she did 20 years ago.
She doesn't age.
No, she has aged very well. I think she looks a little more mature now, but she still looks very young. She looks fantastic. But yeah, such a random.
So this was a reel on Instagram that went viral some months ago, where a guy was like, can we talk about Julia Stiles and Save the Last Dance?
Yeah.
And it's beat for beat. What what Chloe Fineman is talking about. It's a lot of
making fun of that dance and
her mom dies on the day that she has her Juilliard. It's so ridiculous, the movie's premise. And so the guy on the reel goes through the whole thing just like.
Yeah, it's a really funny reel.
This is what I get for not being online with the youths.
But that's also like this came out months ago, though. It wasn't last week.
By the way, I don't know why it stuck out, because I'm sure that this has happened before, but for whatever reason, there were 2 instances in the Saturday Night Live where we heard Chloe Fineman speaking, and she wasn't doing like an impression or even overly exaggerating like you would do when you're playing certain characters, even if you're kind of using your own voice. And it was both the Old Friends sketch and this one, where it almost felt odd to hear her speak in a regular manner. Where I was like, oh, that's very odd to hear that.
Like that she speaks to me. That's your fucking voice.
And the one that really threw me off was Old Friends, because she just speaks in a very
like a wife,
just like a normal person. And I was just like, oh, that's just odd.
That's off-putting. Can you not? Can you always speak in an accent?
Just please be a character.
She's also tiny.
She's very tiny.
She was in front of the desk, and I was like, "Are you 3'9"?
Yeah, very tiny, very skinny too.
Tiny little girl.
All right, moving on. A baby played by Adam Driver, whose mother is portrayed by Sarah Sherman, vocalizes and shows distress, much to the dissatisfaction of their fellow travelers, Kenan Thompson and Heidi Gardner. Chloe Trost makes an appearance as the flight attendant. This, I don't know who wrote it, because the cast usually, or the writers, will put that they wrote it on their Instagram feed, these kind of things, and nobody has claimed this one. But this seems like a Sarah Sherman sketch to me. Does it to you guys as well?
It would make sense.
Yeah.
So what did you think of this? Adam Driver,
I mean, it's perfect.
He's silly.
Like, no notes. I laughed so hard.
I would watch a movie.
Yeah, I'm not joking.
With Adam Driver as a baby. If they did a remake of Look Who's Talking, and it was Adam Driver with his grown-ass head, and he was talking so that adults could actually hear him as opposed to being in a monologue, I'd be all over that shit.
I cannot tell you how much I was in the moment going, cut back to the baby. like Kenan Thompson's fine. You get back to that baby. Yeah. What is he going to say next? I think he improv that, obviously, when the laptop or the iPad fell. He's like, I like it so much, I shook it to the ground. Like, he knows what he's doing. It's so funny. He spits up the milk. I'm dying.
The way he screamed when she takes away the teddy bear. Oh my God!
Oh, he has returned with that grown vocabulary,
and the way he was grunting while he's pooping, and Kenan Thompson's like, "Stop looking at me."
I mean, it was picture perfect. I'm not joking. I'm with you, Brad. I would watch a movie out of this. It's so funny.
We're gonna pitch a sketch to you, Adam. We're going to cut a hole through the back of this plane set that we've used like 3 times now this season.
It's a good set.
Oh, and you're going to stick your head in there, and your butt's just going to be sticking out the back there. But nobody will see that, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just... again, no notes. Just make more of them. If he hosts the 5 Timers Club, bring the baby back. Out of everything that you did, bring the baby back.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I loved it.
It was a little... Jonah Hill does those.
I'm 6.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Like, it was just nailing that part really well.
Yeah. I could keep going. It's such a good sketch.
All right. Elder PSA, a group of elders played by Adam Driver, Kenan Thompson, Heidi Gardner, Puckett Johnson, James Austin Johnson, and Molly Carney make a PSA video. I think with being pranked on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a thing? Is that what the kids are doing?
There's
on
a
TikTok?
lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
I do wonder though. I don't think a lot of them are real. I think a lot of them are staged, but they make them think that they make it seem like they're real, because like there's no way you're gonna get like get it framed such right and get those kinds of reactions.
But also, people have been shot doing pranks,
right?
And so some of them are.
Oh no, I'm not saying there aren't real pranks out there.
No, I think some of the scare pranks are real.
Yeah, for sure. But a lot of the ones involving like doing these kinds of tricks to older people in this one, like it's clear it's a staged kind of thing, you know.
I will never complain about Kenan Thompson in old age makeup doing.
Oh
this.
yeah, of course.
What? Come on now, don't do that. I mean, it's his voice is perfect. I love it so much.
Yeah, I didn't think this was great.
It wasn't.
It was fine.
I thought it was fine though.
Yeah.
The premise wasn't funny enough to me.
In a sketch where you're mining so much gold, when someone hands you a big old cart of silver, you're like,
yeah,
you know.
I agree.
And that was my gold mining metaphor for the day.
What the hell was that?
All right, moving on.
I've been really into precious metals lately, guys.
It made me laugh so hard. I don't know why that's so funny.
All right, moving on. Tiny Ass Bag, written by Marcelo Hernandez and the Please Don't Destroy guys. And I go to Odom. Guys, this is, I think, the first episode of the season that we don't have a Please Don't Destroy sketch.
I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because this
I will say when they didn't show up in the opening credits, I was like, I would really like to see a Please Don't Destroy sketch with Adam Driver.
Yeah. So this one is three people: Marcelo Hernandez, Ego Wodum, and Adam Driver promote tiny ass things to buy. Musical guest Olivia Rodrigo appears as a store associate.
It's fine. It was better than an average, but
kind of remind me almost of a.
And that's all.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of a 90s sketch, a little bit.
100%. I said this in my review too. This felt like a sketch that they would have done like in the 90s
with Adam Sandler,
a live commercial.
Yeah.
Actually, what I said was this felt like Chris Kattan should have been in this sketch somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's a throwback to the Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan department store thing, where the tiny cell phone,
right,
a little bit like that. But I will say that this sketch reminded me of the the bouncer line at the club and the towel boy sketch with Michael B. Jordan, where they wanted basically the host to do an accent. Hold on, I know they were doing that, right? Those Michael B. Jordan and Jason Momoa. And it's almost like that premise was set up for this, but then Adam Driver, I don't know whose decision this was, but instead of making him Dominican or something like that, he's just doing the cadence, but not doing the accent, and it makes it 1,000 times better.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that's actually one of the things that I think made the sketch a little bit better.
I knew you were going to interrupt me, because no, he's not
having him just be Kevin,
exactly,
and just kind of half-assing it, and still being like here.
yeah, and that's all.
Yeah,
I love that.
Speaking of Chris Kattan, I do want to go back to the monologue. That was a funny joke that he made about Chris Kattan that Santa hasn't watched since
Kattan left.
All right, that is the show. We do have a couple cut for time sketches. You guys,
this is the first time that we've gotten cut for time sketches all season,
and it's probably because they were freaking awesome.
Well, and those are gifts to us for those that are fans of the show, because you get an extra sketch, that you get to discover on YouTube.
And this time we got two.
And we got two, and I think they did this because
they were long.
They were long.
These genuinely did feel cut for time.
Literally.
Well, I would have cut the opening, but also I think Adam Driver uniquely serves these sketches in a way that I don't know if you can reuse them for anybody else.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the first one, Actor's Journey. In this cut for time sketch, an actor played by Andrew Smukes is on a panel, and it's interrupted by his former landlord, played by Adam Driver, neighbors Heidi Gardner, Bowen Yang, and other people from his past, Mikey Day.
Why are you all here?
Andrew Smukes and Adam Driver are a great pairing. They just do so well together. I really enjoyed this Cut for Time sketch. When you watch a Cut for Time, you have to understand, though, that especially in the next one that we're going to talk about, Court Case, they're still working out kinks.
Because these are cut from the dress rehearsal to the live show. Those are cut for time.
That's why it's recorded.
And so in this, if you've watched the show and you're a listener of the podcast, but you don't know this, you go to YouTube and you can watch these two sketches. The premise of this one is that Andrew Smukes has made it as a Hollywood actor. He's in an independent film. And
I don't know if he's even made it.
He's an actor in a film, and so they're interviewing him to ask him what his process, and he just mentions, I grew up in I had this dumpy little apartment in L.A., and the landlord from that apartment, played by Adam Driver, whoa, excuse me, are you talking about 93 Kensington
And Adam
Avenue?
Driver does it so good there.
And like, that is not a dumpy apartment. Let's be very clear here. And then
I came here to support a former tenant.
I thought we were all friends.
But yeah, whatever. Love the movie.
Yeah, great movie. So then it just escalates to, and I love the escalation because everybody he mentions, like, no, remember there's a real weird lady that slept in the pool. Oh, I was down on my luck and I'm sleeping in the pool. And now I'm the bad one, and it just keeps going. And my goodness, I really wish they could have fit this into the episode.
In almost any other version of the sketch, the host would have played Andrew Dismuke's part.
Yep.
They would have been the straight person, and you would have had someone at SNL playing it. But the fact that you have Adam Driver doing this silly character, like, it makes it that much better.
Such good work.
If you do go to the YouTube page to watch this, Andrew Dismuke's character is very similar to something that Ben did.
Oh, stop
in an interview that I actually interviewed Ben for.
I was on this.
Hey Ben, share that story.
I was on this Meet the Makers series in our small town of LaPorte, Indiana, and they asked Nate to.
We did the questionnaire from inside the Actors Studio.
Yeah.
The questions by Bernard Pivot.
And I honestly was having a good time, and so was Nate. And then he hit me with.
You cried.
I did. I teared up a little bit. And then he hit me with, like, what's your least favorite word? And I just stalled because I couldn't think of anything. Because I was gonna say moist, but I didn't want to say that for my parents. So I said, I don't know, can't. And it's just so pretentious and saying, like, everybody groaned. Everybody groaned.
It was exactly what Andrew Dismuke sounds like.
It was terrible. I felt a kindred spirit with him in this.
When you said that, did you know immediately that
I did. I did. I was like, I just said the wrong word.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
My least favorite word is can't.
Oh, just because can't means fuck off. I hope that you fail from now on, Ben. Yeah, I internalize that. I still think about that once a week. So thanks for that, by the way.
Still watch you. All right, moving on. The final cover time sketch is Court Case. And a defendant played by Adam Driver pleads his case in court. It also features Kenan Thompson as the judge and Mikey Day, Sarah Sherman, Ego Wodum as several jury members, and James Austin Johnson as Driver's father. So this is actually a great example of sketches still being worked out. It is, if you know anything about the dress rehearsals aren't just kind of, in the theater world, by dress rehearsal, you're usually ready to go. Mm-hmm. In SNL world, dress rehearsals, they're still cutting stuff. It's cutting sketches, cutting lines, they're still really working on it because there's not a lot of time, right? And so up until the show goes, you're working on stuff. And so I think this is a great example of this. There was a couple of different things. Adam Driver still, I think, learning some of his monologue here that he has at the beginning. But the essence of the sketch is there.
Yeah.
And I thought it was hilarious.
And I also think what might seem like rough parts kind of makes his character in that moment a little more endearing, and it makes it feel like
he's actually saying it.
Yeah, it feels like an emotional speech that you would hear in a courtroom drama. And that's where the most hilarious part comes from to me, because they give him a solid minute and a half to 2 minutes,
almost awkward
to where you're thinking, like, wait a minute, am I missing a joke here? And even to the point where when he gets to a part that is amusing, where he's like I shouldn't have used Thursday Night Football, like that should be funnier and in the moment, but because he's been so serious, you're not sure.
I didn't laugh.
Yeah,
I was waiting. I was
exactly.
Like,
and he's such a good actor where you're kind of actually buying into
exactly.
it a little bit.
And he did such a great job, and that's what makes, when Kenan says, I would just like the court members to know that is not what this trial is about.
So in the sketch, if you haven't seen it, Adam Driver does 1 to 2 minutes on, when I was a boy and I played football with my father in the backyard, and we did it for the love of the game.
It was just the ball.
And I shouldn't have used the copyrighted information on Thursday Night Football. I shouldn't have sent out the invitation that said Thursday Night Football, okay? And for that, I'm truly
It makes
sorry.
you think that it's a copyright violation.
And so then, of course, Keenan's like, that's not what happened.
But so...
You kicked...
Perfectly done by Kenan, too.
You kicked dogs...
French bulldogs
as field goals, and you are being charged with animal cruelty. And then, of course, it escalates from there. It's a great sketch, and I've never seen such a long preamble to a payoff.
And I
don't know what the
so good.
I don't know what the jokes per minute quota is for SNL, but it was clearly we're not used to this.
It was
because
dead silent for 2 minutes.
And I do wonder if
and it was
that
dead
part
silent
of
during the cold open as well, but for a different reason.
I wonder if that was part of the apprehension of putting it in, even if, because like, let's say you take, the sketch is long, so having it cut for time literally would make sense. It's like a 6-minute sketch. If you put it in, you'd have to probably take out 2 other sketches, you know? So like you have to figure out if it's worth the sacrifice. I am glad they put it online though, because this is a hilarious
So again,
sketch.
these 2 sketches, if you
Really
if
good
you-
sketches,
even
both
if
of
you
them.
even if you listen to our podcast and you barely watch this and all, go watch these. They're really funny.
Yeah.
You will enjoy them.
And you'll find them, like I said, go to the Saturday Night Live YouTube page, just go under the videos segment, and they'll be at the top, I think.
Now, am we're going to talk about the favorite sketch of the night and MVP, and I'm not allowed to ask to be, it's Adam Driver because he hosts. Is that your rule, Brad?
No, he picks the host.
You can pick the host sometimes, but I feel like it has to be a thing where like they go above and beyond what you expect. So much like the Emma Stone one, I feel like I expected Adam Driver to be a very good host, so I wouldn't necessarily.
Except he did say Emma Stone should be nominated for
An Emmy.
An Emmy.
But that's different though,
But
because
then he still didn't.
But
win.
that's not. That's not
Because I'm
going.
picking Adam Driver.
That's
again.
not
I'm picking
going-
Adam Driver.
are you?
again. Yeah, because he's the fucking MVP.
he's very
period.
good. I think
You want to pick him, but now you've set your own rules, so you can't.
I mean, that's I always have that rule with myself, and I follow my own rules. I'm sorry. What can I say? I like to live my life with integrity.
It's Adam Driver.
I would have gone with either Andrew Dismukes or Kenan Thompson for this episode, I think.
Oh,
Nate?
why Keenan? What did you like about Keenan?
I mean, Keenan-
you thought was above and beyond. Keenan always does great.
Not necessarily above and beyond, but just everything that he offered up when he was in sketches in this one, like, was exactly what you want. He was just very good, very funny. The only reason I would give it to Dismukes over Keenan is because I feel like Keenan's contributions were smaller but pivotal, whereas Dismukes was much more prominent. And I think I just like Dismukes in this episode.
I did too. I think it's a great choice. Keenan's always a good choice, and Keenan can be picked.
But it's Adam Driver.
It is Adam Driver. Here's why, and I actually kind of feel weird picking the host again because I picked Emma Stone last week. But I said this earlier. The writing can only be so good, and you have to have somebody else take the writing and make it special. And I think Adam Driver has that ability. Now he does in other episodes he's been in. But I think from beginning to end, I think this is the best Adam Driver episode we've had.
I disagree with that. I think the first time Adam Driver hosted was probably the best.
What's
episode.
the one where he did the There Will Be Blood with Pete Davidson in the classroom?
Oh, I
That's my
forget.
favorite one.
Because
I think the Science Room and that one were in the same.
Science Room was the last one he was in. That was the
previous
last one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But I loved this episode.
when he was
I'll rewatch this whole
HR
episode.
Pickenpaw or whatever his name was, and he stabs the bird in that classroom.
Yeah.
I have never laughed harder. That was honestly so funny. This was such a great episode, though. Also, they didn't bring back Science Room. They didn't bring back HR picking stuff or whatever to go to the classroom.
They didn't do Kylo Ren again.
They could have done a lot of repeat
Yeah.
stuff because he's had enough sketches now. I'm loving that they chose all original stuff for him.
But you want them to bring back the baby one.
Now that I've said that, you bring that baby one back, or I'm not watching.
Yeah, you bring that fucking baby back.
And
Because that's the sketch. Of
I
the
also
night,
want you
right?
I
to-
want my baby back.
I also want you to do an evolution of the
Give me back my son.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Jesus.
I want you to do an evolution of the beep beep one where they're doing passive aggressive politeness with Andrew Dismukes.
Yes, I would
and
love that as
something
well.
Else.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's other things that you can do that in, and I would love for them to do that. So
No, the baby sketch is that's
your
my
favorite?
I was laughing so hard, and it's hard. Honestly, there are 3 sketches here that could be interchangeable to me.
What about you?
I went with Beep Beep.
Yeah.
That
That's
the other
exactly
one.
what I went with. Yep.
Yeah, that was my favorite sketch.
And that one is right there, so freaking good.
Yeah. I
Beep
just
Beep
thought,
was great, but Shop TV Christmas was also
That's the third one.
yeah, very, very
They're
funny.
very funny.
yeah, I enjoyed this honestly, even the sketches that weren't clearly the best sketches in another episode would have been a good sketch probably
Yeah.
because
the only exception was the cold open, and Adam Driver wasn't in it, so
and it was the worst cold open. It was just so bad. I mean, just embarrassingly bad. And I just hope people did watch the episode.
the monologue is up there for like sketch of the night. Honestly, like
Yeah, the monologue
it
was
was so
fantastic.
good. I laughed so hard. It was just Adam Driver. No, they didn't do questions for the audience or sing a song. It's just him doing his what he wants to do, and basically like a stand up. I'm so impressed.
and
with
I
this
think
guy.
I liked We're Trying better than you did too. I thought that was a very, very funny sketch.
it's funny, but it's in an episode with 3 almost all timers.
It's not a chance for the number one, but it was just
It's the 4th best sketch, which is crazy to say, right?
So we've got another episode next week, correct?
Kate
Yes.
frickin' McKinnon.
She's back, baby. She's coming back.
Are we gonna get an alien abduction sketch? You think
I
with
mean,
Cecily Strong?
I would hope so. I would hope that they would.
That's
do that.
why Cecily didn't want
But
to do it this time.
But I feel like they did.
And maybe they have Ryan
when-
Gosling back as well.
Well, but I think that they gave that character like a send off.
Oh, God.
they did.
Yeah.
They did give it.
But maybe they brought her back then.
you can always bring her back.
Of course. But yeah, I mean,
By the way, you just mentioned Gosling. Gosling has a movie coming out, and he's going to come back. I bet you he's coming back to
well,
SNL.
plus he hasn't hosted since Barbie.
Yeah.
You know, so
I want to see him come back for the Kate McKinnon sketch where he's just sitting in with Cecily Strong. I just wanna see those
Gosling
three.
has to be back
Oh,
next spring.
100%.
When Fall Guy comes out.
Please.
But yeah, so Kate McKinnon, we think Adie Bryant's coming back.
That I'm just so excited, and I hope they do. I hope just make it a.
I hope it's a
spectacle.
spectacle. Yeah, it's the last one of the year. It's Christmas for us. Come on,
That's
give
the
us
thing.
a
It's a
present.
Christmas one.
It's a
Everyone's
Christmas
gonna,
episode, yeah.
Yeah, just
and it's the
fill it all.
end of the year. Kate McKinnon is, this is the first time she's back hosting, right? Or did she host?
Has she hosted?
She hosted before?
No, I don't think so.
I will look it up right now for you.
We should know this probably.
Yeah, probably.
We'll cut this out of the podcast.
No, you know what? I'm going to say she has not.
I think that's true.
No, actually, I know she hasn't because Kate McKinnon was. There were people online complaining that it's too recent to have her back as a host.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, Pete Davidson.
Yep.
Oh,
Do you want to start that over them?
No.
Okay.
And it's her first time hosting, which is going to be very exciting to have her back. So it's I think that if we're going to get repeat sketches, I think I said this on the last episode too. We'll probably get Last Call.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's appropriate for her. Like that's a good character. And it's it's just slappy, silly fun.
But at the same time, maybe not though, because the idea of Last Call is you have the host as the other person, and since she's the host, maybe not, unless they have a special guest.
Who knows?
Let me go over some of the sketches she's done on SNLarchives.net, that kind of characters that she does. Barbara DeDrew, that is the one with the pets that she does.
The Kittens Are We?
Yep.
Whiskers Are We?
Whiskers Are We?
Colleen Rafferty, that's the alien one.
I love that they have character names that I'm like, I don't know what these
Tibet
are.
Goldry, I don't know who that is.
I know that name, but I don't remember. Yeah, so you have to
you have to say the
describe the
sketches.
sketches.
Okay, yeah, it only just says the name,
Yeah,
but
it's not helpful.
Dr. Wayne. Well, you're gonna know this one, Dr. Wayne. We notice. Yeah.
Which honestly, I was never really high on that.
Oh, really?
I was fine with it. I just never got like why it was so popular.
I'm looking through some of the other ones. Megan was one that she did she was like a teenager. There's not a ton that she's done that are like regular.
She does a lot of impressions of real
recurring.
people,
Yeah, it's the it's the impressions that she does that are.
And really, what it was
well-known.
is like her and Adie were always doing original characters as a pair. Doing different commercials.
Yeah,
and shows
if they're on
and stuff
Weekend
like
Update
that.
with that smelly ham basket again, then I am on board
The meats.
because it really does smell.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love it. So yeah, that's it, man. We did it.
I'm excited about next week. If you listen to this podcast and you're like, well, what are we going to do when we're off for a break? We do have another podcast called Go Fix Yourself, and we do update that as well weekly, where we talk about movies and sometimes even some TV shows. We assign each other movies. We give a couple giggles.
Mm-hmm.
have fun.
And honestly, for the SNL podcast, we'll probably dig back into the SNL movies since we're only about halfway through. I think the library of SNL movies. Stuart saves his family. It's coming for you. The other thing I was thinking that we could do sometime is I think that we could do episodes where we focus on like an entire series of sketches where we like watch as many like that as are available that we can and like talk about each of them and like talk about how they evolve and stuff like that.
I'm okay.
Okay, that's fine. Ben doesn't have to be involved. Nate and I will start our own podcast.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Called the 9 to 1.
SNL Squared.
All right, boys. Where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Ethan_Anderson. And you can also check me out at slashfilm.com where I post my reviews of new episodes of SNL, full text reviews on Sunday morning / Sunday afternoon, depending on when I wake up and what I feel like.
And Ben, you're on MySpace
you
still.
can totally find me on Friendster. How about you, Nate?
Yeah. Look at my Zanga. I'm there, and I just
I
poured it over from LiveJournal recently.
Put the best AOL away message up the other day. You should have seen it.
We're online. You can find us on all the sites. Just look us up. Most importantly, though, follow us. Follow the 10 to 1 on Twitter and Facebook, and go to the10to1.com, and you can find all of the information there.
Smush that subscribe button.
Yeah,
Smush
seriously.
it all.
Share this, retweet it, help us out a little bit. We genuinely love the podcast and our podcast listeners and doing this podcast for
Comment
everyone.
on Facebook. So let us know what you thought. What was your sketch of the night?
Yeah. All right, everyone. Hey, we'll see you next week. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Bye-bye.